students, FAMU students, study Harold Dow. He is a man worthy of it. But don't just seek to be him. Be who God made you to be, and be the best ever. Thank you.
I get the privilege to introduce one of our newest faculty members. And I have to tell you that when we started the search for the CBS Harold Dow professor, I knew that this would be a wonderful opportunity, but I also knew that this would be something that we had to get right. And one of the things that I was struck by was how wide the search was. I want you to know that this was not a cakewalk for Benjamin Davis. We had applicants from CBS, yes. We had applicants from China, Europe. Some of the resumes in Vita, I thought, wow. Okay, with that being said, I want you to know that we advertised the position in the Chronicle of Higher Education, RTNDA, and ABJ, and I had a lot of people calling. And I'm very, very thankful to our dean, to Kim Godwin, Professor Jones, because we really, really had to give this a lot of thought. Well, when we selected and we brought in several finalists, and it was really amazing. As we went through the process, we had students involved, so I'm very, very happy and thankful to the students who were involved in the process. And it was not one of those things that some students said, oh, I think so-and-so's too soft, not quite the right mix for FAMU. This guy, I think he's got the goods. So I want to tell you a little bit about Ben Davis. He's an award-winning journalist, an entrepreneur, and founder of MediaFriendly.com. This is a company that provides diverse media contacts to news and information companies. His clients include NPR and Fox News Radio. That's diversity. Now, he also brings, you talked about him being an old school kind of journalist. Well, this gentleman brings more than 30 years of experience to Florida A&M University. This includes 14 years of experience working for major broadcast companies. Now, my mama would say, I couldn't keep a job, Ben, but I'm going to give you your list. You served on the launch team from MSNBC.com from 1996 to 1998. He worked at ABC News from 1992 to 1996. Yes, he's done some time at CBS News, 85 to 87 in Charlotte, and NPR from 1987 to 1991 in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, one of my former hometowns. He's also worked as an assignment manager for WTXGF Fox from 1999 to 2001. So for those who wanted the street credibility, I think he's got it. Now, I also want you to know that I know that the world of journalism is changing radically, and one of the things that I get dissed about sometimes is, you're a journalist, but you're an MBA. You're a little bit different. Yes, I am, and proud of it. Now, this is a gentleman who is the creator of the Digital Media Pyramid, and he's working on a book about it. But what I love about Ben Davis is not only does he bring what I call the professional experience, he's had time in the academy, yes, nearly a decade with Rutgers University, but he also has a business acumen that I think our students need, given the entrepreneurial tracks that many of you will take. He is certainly no stranger to the academy. As I mentioned earlier, he has worked at Rutgers University, which is a state university. FAMU, state university, I get that, okay? For nearly a decade, and he taught broadcast and digital journalism at Rutgers. Not only has he been a professor, he has won a variety of journalism awards, including 2 Alfred DuPont Awards from Columbia. He has a master's degree from Columbia University in New York, and he spent quite a bit of time in California, San Diego, I hear, but he's a graduate undergrad from Whittier College in California, and I think he did like international relations, so that global piece, we got that too. Now, he's also studied at the University of Copenhagen, and he received business management training at the University of Michigan. Pretty reputable business school, but we're going to turn you on to SBI while you're here, okay? Now, and finally, I'd like to share with you, we always ask for recommendation letters. We don't just ask for them, we do interviews. I'm a journalist, remember? Well, Adam Clayton Powell III met Davis when he was working at NPR. And Adam Clayton Powell III was the vice president for National Public Radio. And he's been a champion for Ben Davis ever since. By the way, Adam Clayton Powell at one point was on our board of visitors. And here's what Powell wrote. This is a man who danced at his wedding, and yes, we want to see you boogaloo and whatever you can do, electric slide. But here's what Powell had to say about Davis. Throughout my quarter century of knowing Ben and his work, he has been a self-starter with the highest professional and personal standards. Clearly, we've all talked about Harold Dow. Many of us have had the opportunity to meet him. Integrity, high standards, clearly are important at the School of Journalism and Graphic Communication, so it is a great pleasure for me to present our CBS Harold Dow professor, Benjamin Davis. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you, Dorothy. Byron, I think these are yours. Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. Dorothy, thank you. Thank you very much. I would like to thank God for the grace He's shown me in my life and for pointing me in the direction of FAMU and to be able to work with these students on this campus. I can't say thank you enough. I always and will always thank my wife, Susan. Susan is my exhale, and she's my inhale. And since I was born, nothing better has happened to me, and she knows that. Dorothy Bland and the FAMU faculty, they've been more than welcoming, bringing me here. Everyone treated me warmly, and for that I am very grateful. CBS News, what can I say about CBS News? Let me tell you, CBS News has a reputation for quiet diversity, and please don't forget that. As a matter of fact, the way that I think about diversity is that if it's working well, you really don't have to talk about it. It speaks for itself. If you have to talk about your diversity, you have a diversity problem. And CBS never bragged about its efforts to bring diversity to its on-air talent. Diana mentioned the Kerner Commission earlier. Shortly after that, my former professor, Fred Friendly, started a push there. And eventually the world saw Dr. Lee Thornton, one of the first African-American women to report from the White House, Ed Bradley, Bernard Shaw, Lim Tucker, my professor, Randall Pinkston, Russ Mitchell, Bill Whitaker, Byron Pitts, of course, and of course, Harold Dow. And when CBS recruited me into the reporter training program in 1985, I was told that they expected me to be the alpha male. Yes, that's what he said. To be aggressive in reporting and not to shy away from controversial stories, especially those stories involving the African-American community. That was CBS then, and I believe that is CBS now. Kathy Dow and your family, thank you guys. Thank you for allowing Harold Dow to become one of the best correspondents to grace television. Thank you for your sacrifice, and thank you for this professorship. Harold Dow. All right, I love the fro. I love the fro. He had the perfectly chiseled afro, and he had that African-American man mustache, and it was basically it said, okay, I'm going to wear a mustache, now what? That's what I liked about him. And for me, as a freshly minted reporter, at age 25, his looks, that was hope for me. I never shaved my mustache as a reporter. And Harold Dow, he was, and we've seen this already, he was that instrumental constant in that new news magazine format. It's a format you guys may take for granted now, but when 48 Hours came along, it was the thing. And 48 Hours on Crack Street, it was fast-moving, it was gritty, it was honest, and they were talking about this epidemic that had hit the American streets. And after I saw that program, I mean, I was on crack.